Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Episode 7, which is the season finale. Now, I don't know if it's the series finale. I sort of hope not, because there are a lot of places they could take Boba Fett's character if they continue doing this show. However, they've also sort of trapped him on Tatooine, with him being the ruler of Mos. I forget what one it was. Esper. That's it. Him being the crime lord of Mos Espa, he can't really go on off-planet missions, or at least for very long. But I actually had a couple things I wanted to talk about at the start of this episode, but I'm not going to talk about them because, well, all of them relate to one rumor that I heard about this episode. And if that rumor actually turns out to be true, then I actually want it to be a surprise for you guys. Well, I mean, obviously, if you're watching this, then you've already seen the episode, so it's not a surprise, but you know what I mean. The only thing I will mention that I thought of before this recording is, how funny would it have been if the memory that Luke unlocked in Grogu's mind had have been of Anakin killing the younglings? Like, because that is one of the worst things that Anakin did. And for Luke to see his father do that, I reckon it would have been interesting to get his reaction. Anyway, the synopsis for this episode is Boba Fett and Fennec Shand face an escalating conflict. So, we know that he's got Black Chrysanthemum, Fennec Shand, the mods, the Mayor's Majordomo, who I think is going to be fairly useless, and the Mandalorian on his team so far. Plus, probably because of what the Pikes did at the end of last episode, what with shooting Cobb Vanth, I reckon the people of Freetown are going to come to his aid. It's just a matter of whether Cobb Vanth will be there as well. Because if Cobb Vanth is there, then it's going to be interesting seeing him and Boba up against Cad Bane. Because the only reason I could see, other than just a natural speed advantage that Cad beat Cobb in the last episode, was because he was distracted by the deputy. Otherwise, from what we saw at the start of the episode, they should have been about similar draw speeds. So if Cobb had a competent person alongside him who could either take a few hits or be up there matching draw speed, I reckon the two of them could pose serious damage to Cad Bane. But, like I said, don't know if Cobb is even actually alive, because, as I said, there was a difference between how he was lying directly after Cad shot him and when the townspeople rushed over to him. Plus, they were talking about getting healing items and all that to help him. So you'd think they'd only do that if there was a chance of him being alive. Plus, as many of the reactors that I watched pointed out, it was a shoulder shot. It didn't hit center mass. It was his shooting arm, but it didn't. He should have been able to survive that. Anyway, I guess I'll find out when I start the episode in 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. There we go. My chair was stuck on something. Alright, I forgot about the Gamorreans. I hope he's not dead. I do like his character. As I've mentioned many times, I haven't watched any of the Clone Wars or Rebels or the Bad Batch. So the majority of the history of Cad Bane and the shared history between Fennec, Cad, or Boba and Cad, I don't know. All I know is about the helmet dent and something about Cad Bane getting a head plate from that same duel. So I don't know anything else about it. But I think Cad is also one of Dave Filoni's characters. So I'm going to assume if he's in this episode, then this episode's also done by him. Because I know he won't let other people do Ahsoka. So I'm guessing the same's probably going to be for Cad. Well, at least they cleared out all the bodies. You know, he sort of reminds me of Manchester Black from Supergirl. Possibly because he's got the trench coat, the same kind of attitude, and he's British. But he's got the same kind of demeanor as him. It is that attitude that got you to hire them in the first place, so Makes sense you'd listen to them. Plus, this is more their... They've got more stakes in that than you do, personally. Ah, you're not off-world. Yes. He didn't seem too fond of that revelation. Also, that makes me think that the Tuscans aren't as destroyed as they think. The fact they brought it up in those terms. We never did see the body of that, the trainer, so... Hey Boba, these people you're fighting, they're the ones who killed your tribe. Yeah, that'll get him out. Is that... That's an X-Wing. I guess Grogu chose the armor. Does that mean Luke's gonna help in the battle? Sort of an unknown variable. Because they did ask if he had any help. Any other potential help, so... Maybe not. That... Is it just Grogu in there? Because there's no person. There he is. Oh. I can't not smile when he's on. I wonder if they put that in just because of the fan response. He's wearing the chainmail. You know I'm probably older than you, right? Then again, that species age is about 1/10 the rate of a normal human, so... which I still don't think will be held by at least two of them. I think it's guaranteed that the Clatoonians will betray them. I have a good feeling that the Trandoshans are gonna betray him. It's just whether the Aqualish will or not. Why is he in Trandoshan territory? After what he did at the Sanctuary, why would you put him where he has a blood feud against the main people in that area? Those are unfortunate names. You know, Freetown's just a small collection of huts, right? How are you gonna turn against the whole army with... I know it'll help you somewhat, but... How's this gonna go down? That's fair. That is one more thing I know about Cad Bane. What the tubes are for. I hope we get to see that in this episode. Since Grogu's now on the same planet. And has a proclivity for doing that. And there it is. He's trying to rise him up, but also he didn't seem to agree with them doing that. Can you, though? Thought you took him last time. And you're both standing there now. He looks like he should have a toothpick. So random thought, but toothpick or a cigar? You know, this probably was the best place for him in hindsight. Because this is probably going to feel very cathartic. Are they going to pop out of the... Guess not. Ah, they're on the other side. 5v2. Should be fairly easy. Oh, he's got like a mini hand cannon. Oh, I liked them. I doubt they're going to be surviving. To be honest, them and half of the mods, they were the only collateral that they could have done. Since these three Chrysanthemum and the core 4 mods probably aren't gonna die, the unnamed Gamorreans probably, and the unnamed mods are probably the only ones they could have killed. The fact that they needed that many just to hold him down. Your eye doesn't have X-ray? Phoenix on site. I forget who the fourth of the original mods were. Because there's the guy in the white coat, the British one, Dresh, and there was the one on the green bike. I forgot the British guy's name already. I didn't write it down. Not that I could see. Lucky for me then. Because he tried option 1 in the finale of season 1, and it didn't really work. Well, speak ahead. Oh, don't you want them to die? He's grown to like Boba. My statement. Get fucked. You get nothing. He's probably writing it in Arabic, which is why it took him so long to write that simple message. He does have a Tommy gun. I remember mentioning that a couple episodes ago. You're gonna get shot. I feel you probably should have read that before you went out there. He sent me out here to die, okay. Strong line. Didn't know Boba was such a wordsmith. Of course he's running back inside. It is always entertaining to see multiple Mandalorians fighting side by side because of how much damage they can do to an army on their own. Knee rockets. Have we ever seen him fire one not in a lunge? Yeah, now's probably a good time to bring those out. I think that guy's dead. The mods? Nope. People of Freetown. It is good to fight alongside these guys again. I guess that does confirm that Cobb didn't make it. That's unfortunate. Ah, here come the mods. I mean, they're brightly colored. What did you expect? You think his eye has a targeting system? Because if he can't determine the number of enemies through barriers, what use is it if it doesn't have a targeting system? And here comes Chrysanthemum. Oh, that was brutal. Looks like he's gonna have another head scar. And he's got a broken foot. Fucking hell, he's tanking those bolts. Now, what's left to eat them? Could bring out their ships to follow them, or maybe call back to the riding the Rancor. The fuck is that? I was expecting some quick shots from CAD taking out a lot of them. Oh, there's a second one as well. Looking at Elysium Paladins. Droidicas. 40 odd plus years in the future, advanced droidicas. Focus all of your fire on a single point in their shield. Might be enough to break through. And just hope the second one doesn't fire at you while you're doing that. Or get them to fire at each other if you can maneuver it. Because if I remember correctly, their shields are like the ones in June, yeah? Where if something's moving at a certain speed or above, it'll get deflected, but If it's moving slow enough, it should be able to go in. Jetpack assisted maneuverability. Now might be a good time to try the Darksaber. Not seeming to be weighed down by it. Ship or Rancor? Don't know which one it's gonna be. Well, you got one of them at least. Seems like you can create a weak point with constant fire. Oh. He was breaching it though. Was the spin really necessary? Go. Go. Do you not have a ship of your own? Where was Grogu? Was she coming to pick him up to take him back to her workshop, or...? Ma'am, you have a pea shooter. You're not doing any damage. Scad, that's it. I also now have the bartender's name. There he is. Force jump hug. If you find a safe time, try and use some of your mind magic to help. That's not... Oh. Protect the baby! The pit droids all protected themselves, and she landed on her face. I'm guessing that's the Rancor. We're gonna see Boba and Danny Trejo riding it, or just Boba? It's got reins. That thing should hopefully be able to tank a few hits. Especially if it can turn its back to... Oh. It's got the strength needed to take it down. Rerouting power to forward shields. It is weird to see his go-to weapon being the Darksaber. Well, at least you got its shield down. Come to me, Darksaber. I want to see Grogu wield the saber. I'm guessing it just broke his leg. It's the Mudhorn all over again. Hey, pick up your lightsaber. Good Rancor. It's a sturdy piece of building. It's got a little more kick than your handgun. Where's Cat in all of this? Because there's been a couple times where I've expected him to show up and he hasn't. You knocked his armor off. Is it bad that I want to see the Rancor eat someone? Is that guy leaking oil down his face? The one in white had green coming down his face. Damn it, Pally. First the Jawa, now this guy. A little less property damage, boy. This is still my town. Oh, that guy's dead. Did he really think that was going to protect him? And there's the obligatory Wilhelm. Yeah! And here he is. Time for the showdown. Or the rematch. Where the fuck did you get a Rancor? Okay. Rancors. No fire. Calling a crime syndicate a hoodlum gang. You're trying to rile him up. I have armor. I've just noticed he has his gaffy stick. Did he go grab that when he got the Rancor? Because I didn't notice that at the Sanctuary. Boba shot first. But he missed. So I'm guessing there's some history between Cat and Django as well. Hey, guess what? Still got one knee rocket left. Unless he only has 3. Fennec? No. Gaffy stick. Leave and don't come back. Or just kill him. Okay. I guess that's a more effective way to make sure he doesn't come back. Huh. Interesting. Not how I expected that to go. His armor was still blinking though, so might still be alive. Hey, we're King Konging this shit. Wonder how this is gonna go. Not well. Oh. You are so lucky you have a lot more armor than Boba does. Why can't I bite you? Spicy. You will not hurt my dad. You do not want to hurt my dad. Your breath smells like dead pike. Sleep. Interesting. It seems that his training with Luke's paid off, because he's now done 2 massive force things, and he's still standing. Remember, he could only do 1 not long ago, and he'd fall asleep straight away. Hey Dad, can I get a Rancor? Nah, there he goes. Don't let Boba hear you say that. Oh. Alright. Boba sent Fennec off to this place. I was thinking, where was Fennec throughout that entire battle? But that's fair. Are we going to get an Avengers scene when they open the door? Just all of them standing there with their guns. No, we're going to shoot them through the windows. Well, that was dark for Disney. Fuck. And they put him in another shot too. Make that 2 more shots. Okay. Can mark hanging a person and leaving them in frame off my things I didn't expect to see in Disney checklist. It should have garnered him a lot more respect from the people, though. Crusader's there. Who's in the back tank then? Why is the rat catcher there? My melon. Off on their next adventure. Hey, Dad. Dad? I want to be in the cockpit. I want to sit on your lap. Now he wants to go fast. It wasn't Filoni, it was Rodriguez. Huh. That does explain something. Okay. I'm gonna let these play out because I assume there's a end credit scene. But I'm not sure how I feel about that episode. Like, as a finale with its action set pieces, it was good. But this show as a whole just was disjointed. Like, two of its episodes didn't even really have to do with the main character. Like, the title character didn't speak for 2 episodes. And ironically, those are widely agreed to be the 2 best episodes of the series. I don't know if they'll be outshined by this in most people's eyes. They're not in mine, but yeah. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it didn't have Boba Fett in it as to why I like those episodes. It's just they were more of what I signed on for from watching The Mandalorian. I know I shouldn't have expected this show to be the... They've got Cobb in the back to tank. And they've got the mod guy. They're going to turn him into Mod Vance. Man. It would have been better if I hadn't have stuffed up his name. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a crime drama mafia kind of person. Nor am I that big of a Star Wars person like I am Marvel. But I did sign on to this after watching The Mandalorian, and I was going to watch it regardless. But yeah, it's just... I don't know, because in my opinion, the 3 best episodes were episode 2, which was Steph Green, episode 5, which was Bryce Dallas Howard, and episode 6, which was Dave Filoni. This was Robert Rodriguez's show. He was like at the head of this. And yet, his 3 episodes of the 7 didn't make the top 3 of the series. I am going to rewatch this episode and then rewatch the 2nd episode to definitively say whether or not this one is in 3rd place or if episode 2 is. But now I'm not sure if it's just I'm not someone that his directing style speaks to, or if it's the fact that his episodes were the most of the crime drama of the entire series. But there's also the fact that, as I said, this had a lot of the same beats as the season 1 finale of The Mandalorian. Like, up until the reinforcements came, was almost beat for beat, with them being held out in a rundown bar that had been destroyed by the enemy in the previous episode. The army arriving in massive numbers to wait just outside. I'd even say that those, she said there were Scorpinek droids were the same as the massive gun turret that the stormtroopers and Moff Gideon had. The mods and the people of Freetown running off while others stayed behind to distract the enemy was them going through the sewer system, and the armorer staying behind to take out a bunch of stormtroopers. The final battle could be related to the battle against Moff Gideon's TIE fighter. It was very similar. Now that's not a bad thing. I liked it. It's just, it was done better there. But that could have also been because there were no reinforcements, so it was just a more personal thing. Plus, there's the fact that it being a smaller group, only main characters, if one of them gets injured, and badly injured, they might be killing off a main character. Whereas this one had fodder. And those fodder were the exact ones that I said at the start were the ones that were going to die. The main 4 mods made it out, like I said. The 3 in the bar made it out, and Black Chrysanthemum made it out. Think back to the season 1 finale, how injured Din Djarin got, how he almost died. And sure, he was the main character. We didn't know season 2 was coming, so they might have been killing the main character off in that show. We didn't know. That was the thing. But they were never going to kill Boba Fett off. They were never going to kill Fennec Shand off, because they can give her own spin-off show. And Mando had to survive to season 3. That's another thing. The people who watch season 3 of The Mandalorian, but didn't watch this, are going to be very confused. Because when season 2 ended, Mando off on his own without a ship, Grogu was off with Luke. Now Mando has a Naboo starfighter, and Grogu's back. They did a lot more plot for Mandalorian than they probably should have in this show. Now, as I said, this is effectively Mandalorian Season 2.5. And with such an interconnected universe between these shows, you do sort of need to watch all of the shows to understand the whole picture. It's like what the CW tried to do, and I'd argue managed to do the first few seasons of their shows. And then that got out of hand, and I don't know if it's gotten better or worse, because I no longer have Foxtel, and so I don't watch them, but yeah. An interconnected universe of multiple shows, each being introduced in a different show, they're going to be really connected. So it makes sense to watch them all. But there are going to be people who don't watch them all. So you shouldn't really progress the main plot of one of the other shows in these other shows. Like, imagine after the finale of this, there's season 3 of Book of Mandalorian. And then, not Book of Mandalorian, just The Mandalorian. And the people who don't watch The Mandalorian, but watch this. Let's say they come back and Fennec's dead. Boba's off flying with Din. Or he's ruling Mandalore. Or he's got the Darksaber now. They're going to be like, what the fuck happened? This isn't the show that I left. Like, and you've just got to wonder. Because they've got this. They've got The Mandalorian. There's going to be Ahsoka. There's going to be the Obi-Wan series, which I think is set. Well, I mean, obviously it's set before this. This is after Return of the Jedi, and Obi-Wan died in A New Hope, but yeah, so that's probably going to be its own thing. But I don't know if they're still doing Knights of the New Republic because, well, Cara Dune was meant to be the main person in that, and, well, everything that happened with her no longer being in Star Wars. So don't know if that show's going to go ahead, but if it does, it's also going to be heavily tied in. And yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see whether they continue building other shows up in different shows, or they're going to realize that they should keep the big plot points localized in their own shows. Final thing I'm going to touch on. Cad Bane. Should not have died in this episode. I do agree, eventually, the character should have died, and it should have been at Boba's hands. Should not have been this episode. To the point that they only said his name like once or twice in this show. He had a really badass introduction at the end of episode 6, showing him to be a ruthless bounty hunter, and the main point of Cobb Vanth's opening in that episode, showing him to be a quick draw, taking out 3 pikes before they could even get their guns out, was to show that in the clothing scene, with Cad Bane being able to outdraw him, that this is someone that we needed to look out for because of how dangerous he is. And then they go and kill him in the next episode. Like, he was even barely in the episode. Like, he had the scene where he was talking to the head of the syndicate. He had the almost fight out the front of the sanctuary. And then he had the fight where he died, where he shot 2 shots. And that was it. Like, I reckon the way I would have done it, I would have put a little more references to their shared history for those who didn't watch the animated shows. Because I think he even had an altercation with Fennec Shand in one of the shows. I don't know which one. But, yeah, like, mention that he was the one who put the dent in Boba's helmet, with Boba firing back. How's that played on your head? And then have him be banished from Tatooine, well, effectively banished from Tatooine at the end of that fight. Then have him show up. Be a foil to some of Boba Fett's plans in Season 2. A recurring thorn in his side. Maybe even let him last to Season 3. That way he has a chance to show up in other shows as well. And then you kill him off. By Boba Fett's hand. Like, that way, you let the character breathe in live action. You continue to show him to be a formidable bounty hunter with a grudge against Boba Fett specifically, and you don't have him overstay his welcome. Instead, they decided to kill him off in the second appearance. And like I said, with his appearance early in the episode, I figured that him being in this episode meant that it was going to be Dave Filoni directing it. Now, I know Filoni and Favreau, they write the show. And the director has some input, but ultimately it's a collaborative between the three of them, plus the storyboarders and all that, to show here's what it may look like if we do it this way. Do you want to change it? There's the whole team that gets it to the final product. But the fact that the episode that Ahsoka was in The Mandalorian, the episode that Ahsoka was in the Book of Boba Fett, and from what I've told, the best episodes of the Clone Wars that Ahsoka's in, Star Wars Rebels, all done Dave Filoni. And there's, I don't know how true it is. I did say it in the reaction, but this is just what I've heard, that he won't let someone else direct for that character. And so far, he's done Ahsoka incredible justice. Like, I knew very little about her, and I love the character from what I've seen in her 2 appearances in the shows, so obviously he's done something right. But I'm guessing the same was not able to be done for Cad Bane. Obviously, because they wanted Robert Rodriguez to do the finale of his show. So the best they could have done was a co-director thing between Filoni and Rodriguez. But yeah, it's like the way I see that character now, and I'm sort of glad I haven't watched any of the shows, because I feel this would have even been worse had I actually gotten attached to the character. I knew his history proper. It's basically when you lend your toys to your mates and they give it back broken. Like, that's essentially how I saw the character in this episode. Not to say that the episode, if you look at it as a whole, as just a finale episode of a show, it's good. But when you start picking apart the little bits, you see very quickly as to why it's not top 2 of the 7-episode series, and why it's struggling to even make top 3. But, with all this being said, I will still be returning if there is a season 2. I will be returning for Mandalorian season 3. I will be returning for Ahsoka. Because, well, I still enjoyed it. It's just went in a way that I didn't think it should have, and I reckon there's going to be a lot of people who feel the same. Especially people who are bigger fans of the characters than I am. On a completely different note, the rumor that I alluded to at the start of this reaction didn't actually come true. Because I heard rumors from a couple people that there was talks of getting a de-aged Han Solo to show up in this episode. And for Luke to come back as well. To show the two of them post-Empire, not post-Empire, post-Return of the Jedi for the first time. Because the two of them didn't interact in the sequel series at all. So, this would have been the first time, and only time, seeing them interact after Return of the Jedi. And if they had have done that, it would have also led credence to the theory that eventually, with this new de-aging techniques that they've gotten from the YouTuber, I think his name was Shamook, who helped them with Luke in the last episode, they would have done seeing the original trio together again eventually. And I would like to see that. I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. Heck, I don't even know if they're going to be able to get Harrison Ford to agree to let them use the Han Solo character, or if they use his likeness for Han Solo, or if they're going to get that guy from the Solo movie that no one liked to come back and do it, which would mean that no one would like seeing him and Luke interact. But anyway, overall, I liked the episode. I liked the show. Wasn't entirely my cup of tea, but it was still enjoyable. And that's all that really matters to me when it comes to watching shows. So, with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.